kind of been in the space of training program management, cancer center administration for the better part of 21 years. So I personally started at Johns Hopkins University within the medical oncology training program, where I focused a lot of my time in the management of training data, training program facilitation, and was really incorporated. A lot of my position was in retrieving and maintaining data on that particular level. Between the years of 2005 and 2017 was really the bulk of dealing with cancer center administration. So it was developing a lot of systems to kind of help administration facilitate and manage data when it comes to research programs, publications, grants and funding, biosketch management. There's a lot of different things that we worked on from a systems perspective in trying to generate and create platforms to help with the complex nature of maintaining this information. And so as a result of that, there was a couple of platforms that were developed over the years. It was a publication management system, a faculty database, publications database, grants database. Those were all separate systems. So every single year I was asked to go and present at the Cancer Center Administrators Forum. I'm not sure if you guys may or may not have been involved in that over the years, but for probably about 5 or 6 years, I was presenting separate systems. And every year I really wanted to make it to a point where I could interact with other cancer center administrators and leaders and try to find out exactly what it is that they were experiencing and if it was the similar things that we were experiencing here at Johns Hopkins at the time. So I was able to demo the platforms and really just came across just a common thread in noticing that there was a need that everybody was kind of looking for, a shared need, a shared space to be able to accomplish the goals of obtaining and maintaining information. So that's why we kind of set it out in 2016. We created ResearchLogix as a platform, as a central platform. And so some of the consistent inconsistencies that we noticed as a common thread between other centers was that there was always a disconnection of data. There was a lack of accessibility, inefficiency in data collection and data management. Definitely a lot of time constraints when it came to the available time that administrators had to be able to maintain this type of information. Also on the investigators' part, a lot of time constraints in being able to compile information and provide that to leadership. And then also inconsistencies and lack of efficiency in business workflows. So with these 5 primary areas, this is what the whole basis of ResearchLogix that's built on. So we officially launched the platform in 2016 as a web-based platform, which is going to allow for high accessibility on both the parts of administrators and on the side of investigators. And so incorporated within the platform as well as we asked that this set up as an account-based platform. So what that's going to provide is a standardization for common utilities and common tools that as they're released to everybody that uses the platform. But we also have, since it's account-based, we can really create the specifics and create customized solutions based off of the core data that gets used within the platform. And so that's kind of one of the things that we kind of noticed, and this is really just the way that it works with the CCSG and becoming NCI designated cancer center is they're looking for common reports, but there's so many different ways that different cancer centers are kind of built under. So there's different research programs. There's a high level of customization that needs to be done, which is why a lot of folks were going and creating their own internal systems and creating their own methods. But the account-based allows kind of the best of both worlds. You have a common shared space for common tools, and then you also have the accessibility of customized reporting on that side. But overall, the ResearchLogix platform is really a centralized area to provide management of complex data. So You have your researcher information regarding publications, grants and funding, appointments, integrated biosketch development using what's called our Edge platform. And then we also have on the administrative side, the ability for administration to be able to maintain publications being imported directly from PubMed, allows for additional vetting of those publications so that whenever they come in, you can apply additional metrics to those, like shared resource core utilization. We also have some integrated solutions for the preparation of the data tables 2A and 2B for funding solicitations and getting justification, and then also an array of reporting integrated within the platform. And so what we're going to be focusing on specifically today is really kind of focusing on just one of our modules, which is the training program management. But really, the ResearchLogix platform builds off of data that's collected and managed from all the different areas of the platform. So we do have additional specific modules for CCSG reporting. So that's going to be your data tables 1A through D and 2A and 2B. We also have training opportunities, application review, and funding opportunities, application review. So the training opportunities application review is just a way for when there's a new training opportunity that's going to feed into the data that we can use for the T32s with trying to obtain, how many applicants you had and what are their demographics versus those who actually make it into the training program, which is what we're going to be focusing on today, training program management. And we also offer another, variety of services like web services for integrations. And I'm going to be focusing a little bit today on the My RLOGX side, which is more of it comes from the perspective of a trainee or an investigator. So he or she can manage his or her own profile. So they're going to be able to maintain and view publications that are assigned to their profile, be able to create biosketches, but really it's more of a personalized view into a subset of the overall information of ResearchLogix. And then just to kind of showcase, we are a growing community. So we were officially launched back in 2016 with University of Maryland, but over the years, we've kind of limited the number of folks that were signing on to the platform just to make sure that we were on the right track with the platform and how it's able to be providing what it is that administrations need. So we have a University of Pittsburgh Medical Center Hillman, and then we have Johns Hopkins University. It was converted over. Wilmer Cancer Institute is actually using the platform to achieve their NCI Cancer Center designation. And then we recently have just onboarded Fred Hutch as a client. So overall goals. This is the overall goals for the ResearchLogix platform. We try to maintain these goals in every single one of the features within our platform, but we want to focus on these three primary goals of efficiency in providing tools that are going to promote efficiency for both leadership and administrations. Our second goal is primarily to deal with data integrity and providing power to the reporting as you're managing this complex information. But finally, and this is really kind of taps into the whole group that you guys are a part of, but it's a community-based platform. So it's not only are we trying to create a solution to be able to help maintain this information, but what we're trying to do is really just provide a common ground, a common community so that best practices and standards can be generated from this platform. So in all that we try to do, we try to kind of follow these primary goals. So this is going to be a little bit of interaction with this particular webinar. So used to just doing presentations, but what I'm going to do is we're just going to take a little bit of time for some interaction here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share out a poll here that was created because I was kind of curious to see how folks are actually managing their information. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch this. And so what this is going to do is this is going to ask you a couple of questions. We just have 3 questions. So feel free to answer these. And then whenever at the conclusion, whenever it looks like most people have entered in the information, I'm going to close the poll. And then I really just kind of want to see exactly how folks are kind of managing their information. So we have a lot of stuff, a lot of activity going on right now. And when you do get to the final question, there's no close poll or anything, so you don't have to keep clicking next or whatever. When you finally make it to that final question, it's pretty much done. So it looks like a lot of folks are still on question 2, and we're rolling into question 3. And I'm just going to give another 10 seconds. Looks like for the most part. All right, they're rolling in now. So let's see, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so just want to share the results here. So it looks like for the most part, when people are managing their current training data information, this is a common thread. Whenever we generated this particular questionnaire, it was really just trying to showcase, looks like for the most part, folks are using an integrated personalized system, but it's mainly going to be, whatever fits the need. So, I mean, it looks like with Excel spreadsheets, that is going to be a common thread when it comes to managing information. And, that's, while it's something that is useful, as you started to maintain information across multiple years and you have more hands in on the system, what you're actually going to see is there's going to be a problem when it comes with trying to share that information. So, you're either putting this Excel spreadsheet on a shared drive and people are kind of passing it back and forth. It really opens up opportunities for data integrity, and it also has an absence of being able to report. So that's one of the things that, whenever I was in the business to begin with, that's what we were using was Excel spreadsheets. So it's really just a matter of taking that to the next level, which is what ResearchLogix does. It kind of opens up and creates a solution so that the data and the reporting becomes available. And so let's see, going to the next question, what sources are you using to follow up training career progress? For the most part, yes, it looks like it's a lot of curation and going off on your own and trying to find out these solutions. So we have the common methods of going to the social media route, direct contact. Those are like the primary. And then you do also have the problem of not following up at all. So that's, one of the things that we wanted to do and wanted to showcase within the ResearchLogix platform, specifically in the training area, is the ability for follow-up directly from the trainee themselves. And so I'm going to showcase a little bit of that within the RLOGX platform, which is the personalized view. And then so one of the major goals that we're trying to do within ResearchLogix as well is obviously to save time and improve efficiency. So on average, how much time are you guys spending to maintain information? So it looks like, it's pretty much all over the board here. I mean, you're going to have some folks that are dealing with a lot of time, which are going to be your training program management, but then you have the leadership as well that's also highly involved. Might not be a full-time job, but definitely there are things better pressing issues that you want to deal with rather than going out and obtaining information and reporting on things. So really the idea within ResearchLogix is try to provide that opportunity. So I'm just going to go back to my slides here, but thank you very much for your participation in that. So going back to the presentation, so like I said, within the training program management, within the platform of ResearchLogix specifically for training program management, we focus on our primary objectives of efficiency, enhancing data management and reporting and community. So now with that, I'm going to open this up to actually giving the online demonstration of the platform itself. And what I'm going to be showcasing is really an introduction to the training program console to kind of show off how the management of profiles is done through the platform. Also going to be showcasing some of the tools and reporting, and then going to be hitting in a little bit from the view of what a trainee actually sees whenever they maintain his or her own profile. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. And again, any questions that you have as I'm giving the presentation, feel free to enter those in the chat. So share screen. Tab. Okay, so since the ResearchLogix is a web-based platform, this is something that we wanted to make highly accessible to folks. So there's a lot of perspectives that come into the management of training programs. So you have leadership, you have the trainees themselves, and you have the coordinators and the managers of the program. So what we try to do is with the ResearchLogix platform is provide a centralized area for the management of a specific training program. And we have a variety of different tools that we've built into it. And so going into the platform, this is the home screen that you're going to see. And so we have, obviously there's different areas within the platform. This is the members. So this is going to be the investigators affiliated with your cancer center programs. We have the publications workspace, we have the funding workspace, but what we're going to be focusing on is specifically our training workspace. And so what we have is you're going to have the capability, every particular program that you have, training program is essentially going to have its own little dashboard. And so I just have a sample training program here. And what this is going to do is, this is really just some sample data that we have added into the system. We have a specific area for who the leaders are, the association of the grants that are affiliated with it, begin date and start date. With each training program that we have the ability for multiple cohorts. So you're not restricted to a certain, you're going to want to report on certain years at certain times. So you're able to create your own cycles within the platform, within the particular training program. This is the dashboard that I was talking about. So it's going to be able to show the breakup between race and ethnicity, gender, also the different parts of the country that people come from for your particular training program. And then I was mentioning before about the demographic landscape. This is where it's going to show the trends of folks that are coming through the program. We also have, and this is where I ended up cutting off before, the training programs. This is going to showcase the degrees that are obtained prior to them coming to the particular training program versus where it is that they go afterwards. And so this is just really tapping into the data, making things possible for additional analysis, and also really trying to showcase, what's the effectiveness of the training program? Is it encouraging your trainees to go and pursuing that degree? And so that's what that's going to be really helpful for, is like the early stage training programs, like your high school student summer programs. It's probably going to be really cool as they're using this platform and going out into, creating their career. This is going to be something that can be used and follow up through the tenure of their research career. So, and that's really what we wanted to provide as an ultimate goal, is really to provide a platform outside of like the social media type stuff, but really kind of showcasing researchers' career progress, and then being able to provide that resource on the side of administration for reporting purposes. So what I'm going to do is just going into, I really want to kind of showcase what it is that the trainees see themselves. So we can go into, this is a development side here, but what we have is one of the trainees. And so the way that the training solicitation is going to work is the program manager or the program leader is going to be able to use ResearchLogix to be able to select certain cohorts that they want to reach out to the group. And so it's going to send them a personalized email just saying, hey, we'd like to follow up to see how it is, how things are going with your training program, your training progress, your career progress. You were a member of this particular training cohort back in 2016. If you could just let us know what it is that you're up to, we'd be more than happy to provide this as a resource for you to be able to let us know what it is that you're up to. Now, one of the main things that you want to focus on, at least from a developer or programmer perspective, in somebody that develops systems, you want to be able to provide a value add for an individual to be able to want to use this system. So not only is this a method, this system as a way for them to be able to enter and record information, this also turns into a tool for them to be able to use this as a way to create their own biosketches and manage their biosketch. And not only is that going to be something that is going to allow them to keep their information current, it's also going to provide a mechanism for reporting on the administrative side, because for every area of the biosketch, you have these really important areas to be able to tap into to find out, exactly how they're moving along within their progress within their research. So, we're going to have our common sections of education, positions, appointments, honors. All of these things are actually reflected back into this career center. So what this is going to do is this kind of creates two mechanisms or two gateways for them to be able to start recording information for themselves to be able to create their biosketch, but it's also going to provide in turn some reporting back to administration and to the leadership of the training program. So what they're going to be doing is, getting an invite to that. And so they're going to be able to go into these specific modules and be able to update their information. And really, we tried to create it so that, when managing this information, this is something that's going to be really quick for them to be able to go in and maintain. And in addition, have that ability of a value add of being able to generate their biosketch from this. And so this is, really just a way to kind of solve a lot of different problems in one little swoop. So once that information is recorded within the system, as they're entering in that information, it is going directly back to the reporting side of the training program. And so some of the other reporting tools that we have that we kind of wanted to showcase as well, and I make sure that this is loading and doing
Jeremy?
it. Yes.
Sorry, before we move on, there's just a couple questions.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's see, we've got Mark is asking if you're collecting demographic information, is there a way to safeguard that? Because HR does not allow, it needs to be in a protected database. So,
right. So we do, there's a lot of protection that we have within the platform so that whenever the system, since the system is deployed across multiple accounts at the same time, that information is segmented. And so it's really not anything that's publicly visible outside of the account owners that have that. So trainees aren't able to see other training information. Administrators are only able to see information related to their trainees that are associated with their program. So it's going to be, it's really locked. This is really locked down so that only the people who are going to be able to view certain things are going to be those that are allowed to view it. And we also have several mechanisms within the system to identify what it is that folks are actually looking at. Whenever they do log into the system, we have some tracking mechanisms for user profiles. So I hope that answers
And there is one more. Eileen had, is the date you have in the training program section of that first screen you were sharing? Is it the date they started the program?
Yes. Yes. So what's going to happen is when information is added into the system, this is going to be added by the administrator. So when a training program cohort starts, let's just go ahead. I'll just go to a cycle here. So when a trainee is added, it really, there's several different gateways on how information is going to be added into the system. When it comes to creating a new training program cohort, that is really kind of the next tier of the overall training program. So what's going to happen is you as an administrator would be able to create an actual training program and then create a kind of a tier off of that. So it would be, whatever year it is that it starts, or if you wanted to name it something specific, or if it's, maybe it's a training program that's only 6 months, but you have 2 of them in a year. It's really going to be up to you on how you want to have that labeled. The system has that flexibility. It's not until then that you would apply or add a particular trainee to that particular area. However, when it comes to the reporting, that's going to take a look specifically at the date that they started. So it's going to include their information if they were involved in that training program within that particular date range. I hope that answers your question. And it looks like Eileen Dolan, the trainee, is entering the information. So when it comes to entering the information, yes, for the personalized information, like they have the capability, I should say, they have the capability of entering in their own information. But there's an administrative side that allows the training program administrator to be able to enter that information as well. What we wanted to do is really try to provide a way that there's a flexibility that's going to allow the training program administrator to run it the way that they see fit. So if they want to be more hands-on and enter in all the information, that's going to be a capability for them to be able to maintain and do all that. We also have a nice little importing tool. So if I'm remembering going back to what it was with the way that people are managing their information, there's actually an importing utility that we've built to be able to import directly from an Excel spreadsheet so that it will create all of your programs, all of the cohorts, and then also link all of the specific trainees and the affiliated mentors with one swoop. So it's pretty cool system to be able to get that information in there. But once that primary information is in there, it's really up to you if you would like to send out those solicitations. You have the capability of using that as a way to reach out to them and get that latest information using their career portal, or it's going to be something that you can manage on your own. So you would be able to go in at any point to go to a training program, to a trainee's profile, and be able to go in and, add additional items, make changes. Really just kind of has that flexibility on how you want to manage it. But going in, I really wanted to kind of showcase some of the reporting that goes in here. So going into a specific training program, I had shown the dashboard before. One of the things that we wanted to kind of make it easy to do is kind of show across the board the connections between trainees and mentors. So we have the ability to go in and see with one click a listing of all the trainees for a particular training program. We also have the capability of going in and seeing at the mentor level, being able to showcase how many mentors are under how many trainees are under a certain mentor. One of the really powerful things that we have, and this is where we worked specifically with Mary Armanios, and she was pretty impressed with how we were able to import information directly from PubMed. We have the ability for publications. So publications, as a part of the ResearchLogix platform, are automatically imported on a daily basis. And so based off of the account and based off of who you have included for the auto imports. It will go out and talk to PubMed and realize any new publications that are found for those individuals. So this is going to apply specifically to the mentors. So anybody that's a Cancer Center member or affiliated with your with your center in any way, whoever it is that's being maintained within the investigators section, they're going to immediately be available as being a mentor. The option is being a mentor. So their publications are going to come in on a regular basis. But what we also have is an importing tool specifically for trainees. So for the trainee and making a link between those publications between a trainee and a mentor, there's an integrated solution within ResearchLogix to be able to draw in those publications. So what you see here, this is just publication listing. What I can do is I can grab quickly publications that are found between a leader, between a mentor and a trainee. And so what that's going to do is, this is just a quick output. If you need to provide this in an NIH format, it's going to take that same information and compile it as within that specified NIH format. But what we also have is this publications dashboard, which is actually a really cool utility to be able to show associations between publications, between mentors and trainees. So if you wanted to select, a certain mentor, what you would be able to do is select them along this left-hand side. And then what that's going to do is it's going to, let me go and I'll just go ahead and pull. Let's see, just do Francis here. So mentors. So what I can do is I can select a certain individual. It's going to highlight those specific publications. If I want to make a comparison between two people, it's going to locate those specific publications for those. And you'll also notice that there's some other really cool things with being able to identify quickly whether a trainee is the first author or not. But this is something that you can go and extract information whenever it's needed. And this is also going to be something that's going to be pretty important when it comes to our the ability for T32 table generation, which is something that we're currently working on. So we can take this information, we can export it in NIH format, or if you wanted to do more information with that, you can export that as a CSV. But talking about the data tables, I was saying, we are in the process of creating some one-click options for T32 data table generation. One of those areas, the primary areas that we thought about specifically, was the area for Table 5, specifically for those publications. A lot of time, I know that there's a lot of time that goes into being able to draw in information. So we really want to create a resource. With us being able to import publications for the purposes of CCSG, we thought it would be a perfect fit for trainee-related publications to be imported as well, and really provide a good mechanism for folks to be able to quickly extract information from public sources. The T32 Tables 5 is, something that I think right off the top is going to save number of hours, if not days. So one other thing that we also wanted to provide, and this is really just this was something that we just added on recently just for Johns Hopkins, but just made it available for all training programs, is really the way for you to be able to store surveys that get taken at the end of programs. So I don't know if this is something that gets requested during CCSG site visits, but this is something that you'd be able to create. This is a common area for you to be able to use and store trainee surveys. But so those would be attached directly to the program that you have selected. So that pretty much covers the training program, the way that it kind of works. So I'm going to go ahead and look through if there's any questions here. So we have do you have a process for verifying the publications is correctly associated with the trainee? Yes. So there is a vetting process that actually takes place on the side of Cancer Center members. So they're able to go through and verify their own things, but also we have the capability, and this is another a utility that we have. Just go back to, let me share Deb3. So one of the things that we cover, let me make sure this is going to update. Yes. So within the Career Center, one of the areas that we have is publications. And so this is somebody that doesn't have any publications. So I'm going to go, this is a fictional person. So let me see, I'm going to go into mine real quick. Okay. So I'm going to go into my Career Center, and we can go directly into publications. And so this is a way, like I had said before, that we wanted to be able to create a solution for trainees to be able to want to use. And so one of the main things that we have is, the ability to create a biosketch. And so whenever they're creating their biosketch and they have those linked publications, we give them the ability to go in and go within their own publication workspace specifically for them. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load this screen real quick. What this is going to show is eventually it's going to show I'm going to try to share my screen again. Sometimes whenever tab, share. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is going to show when a trainee goes into his or her own profile, they're going to be able to see publications that are linked to them. And so that would be as a result of being able to if it's going to be a publication that was imported by an administrator, then it's going to appear on this as well. So this is an area where they can not only view and see publications that are attached to them, they are also going to be able to go in and use the system to be able to import those publications. So if anything gets missed or anything like that, if it's something that's in press, this is a way that they're actually able to go in and manage their information as well. So it's going to be at this point that they can vet their own publications if need be. And there's some, if there's something specific that you would be looking for, one of the big areas within the publication management system within ResearchLogix is being able to ask additional questions. That if you're ever interested in learning more about the publication workspace and things that we kind of do with that, we just ask additional questions like whether something's cancer related, whether it was peer reviewed or not, or whether there is any external collaboration. But depending on what types of questions administrators want to ask, you can basically ask those same questions for every single publication that's attached to that individual. So we could probably do something like that on the side of trainees. So if there's like some additional information, like you might want to use that as a way to pose the question, was this a training program? Was this a publication as a result of the training program that you participated in back in 2018 or something like that? The ResearchLogix has the ability to be able to connect some additional data points with things that aren't really accessible. It's really nothing physical that you could be able to tap into. It's really garnering information directly from the trainee and or mentor. But that's ways that you can kind of ask additional questions. A little bit more. I guess that's a little bit more than you wanted. But yes, there's the ability to vet publications on their side and also on the side of administrators. So let's see. So I have Wallace. How does ResearchLogix link Cancer Center members with PubMed publications, ORCID or something else? Okay, so we do have the capability of using ORCID for older members, older publications. Unfortunately, those are not they're not retroactive when it comes to ORCID IDs. So while we do have the capability of being able to import publications using the ORCID ID, what we've created is an algorithm that is pretty successful in drawing in those publications. We use a combination between affiliation and the way that author's name is presented within a publication. Now, one of the things that I mentioned when it comes to the publication workspace is that there's the ability for a vetting process. So when it comes to importing publications on a daily basis, administrators have the ability to see new publications that are coming in as a result of that algorithm. So they're able to kind of vet things at a glance directly from there. But we also have the ability to vet, things from the person's perspective. So the actual author would be able to see and be able to say whether that was them or not. But believe it or not, our accuracy rate for the algorithm and bring in publications is actually pretty good. There are some anomalies sometimes, but that's why we kind of use the vetting process, integrated vetting process, to kind of make sure that you're getting the most accurate information. So Mark, for publications, is this configurable to show collaborations between Cancer Center program members in any analogous way to showing associations between mentors? Yes. So there are several, when you're making the associations and showing, I'm thinking that you might be talking about like the inter and intra-programmatic associations. Those are automatically done on the ResearchLogix side. So we have, towards the end of this, I'm actually going to be sending out a link to kind of give a more in-depth demo of these particular features. So I'll make sure to get that out to the group. But we do have within the ResearchLogix platform, it's automatically assigned as being inter and intraprogrammatic. So the way that the ResearchLogix works is you have an account, you have a listing of all your research programs. Now, those research programs can be applied to the individual members within the account. And so we have that association, and then we can combine that association with the linked authorship of particular publications. So what that's going to do is that's going to, I'll actually just show it really quick. What we have is within the reporting, let's do publications by program. What this is going to do is this is automatically going to make those associations. So it's going to take a look at the Cancer Center members' affiliation to a particular program and cross-reference that with the date of the publication, and will automatically assign an allocation to that particular program. So it's going to be that's going to be able to help identify, the system automatically identify whether a publication is interprogrammatic or intraprogrammatic or both. And then we have those other additional questions like, whether something's cancer related or not. Those are those additional metrics that we acquire through the publication solicitation. Now, we also have some really cool utilities as well when it comes to Cancer Center leadership. So we have a publication vetting campaign on the side of program leadership. So as an administrator, you're able to create a campaign and send this out directly to program leadership. So they're able to see at a glance all publications that are affiliated with their own program. And then it allows them to do several different things, like vetting them. If there's like an incorrect assignment, or if there's no assignments at all, if they want to go in and make those manipulations, it's something that they can do as a program leader directly from the portal. And then that in turn is going to provide an update reporting across the board. We also have some really cool little utilities for identifying high impact factors. So this is, there's an additional resource that you can do to upload what the current journal impact scores are. And that will also kind of provide some additional reporting on what, how many, top impact factor like a 10 or above or something like that. If you wanted to showcase those particular ones, that's something that the system does automatically as well. Let's see. Do the trainees get prompted to check their publications? So that is something that would be done directly through the solicitation. That's something that, whenever they get to that particular portal on the publications, there's the publications module specifically. It's going to ask them like the question to say, verify that these publications are correct. We have it's really going to be up to them to be able to import new ones. Since trainees are a little bit more vast than the investigators at cancer center level, we're a little bit more restrictive in having that daily import for trainees, just because there is that chance that it's something that's not going to be vetted. We want to be kind of err on the side of caution. So that's why we allow the utility for them to be able to import and associate publications on their own. But we do have it's an administrative function that's built in that will, let me see, I'll just go back over to this real quick to kind of show you for the training workspace. I'm just going into this tools. There is a publications scan. There we go. Publication scan that takes place. So it's going to be at this point that you would be able to go and select a range for publications to be imported. And so what that's going to take a look at is that's going to go and use that same interface to draw in new publications just for the trainees associated with the program. It really helps with the smaller subset. Instead of going across the entire account, this is restricted just to identified trainees for this particular module, and then it'll import and update your reporting immediately. So I saw PMI status in one of the windows. Can the system be set up to prompt cancer center members automatically to update apply for, it's funny that you answer that question, that you asked that question. So one of the resources that I created back in 2013, I believe, for Johns Hopkins was the ability to submit a request for a PMCID. So that is something that I'm actually working on right now with them to be able to incorporate that into the platform. So what it's going to essentially be, the way that it worked at Johns Hopkins was really a request, and then there was uploaded documentation that would help facilitate the approval process for that. So that is something that we're going to be working on to have integrated within the system. So that would be more of a communication tool between administration and the owner of that publication. And so since, yes, we do have that PMCID as a source, something that comes in directly from PubMed, that would make it really easy to be able to identify those publications that do not yet have a PMCID assigned. And so that would be something that would initiate a wizard to say, would you like to initiate a PMCID request for this publication? So yes, that's something that we can definitely do. One thing that I also wanted to mention too is that although we have, even though we have the ability to upload and automatically import publications on a daily basis, we have a utility that gets run 4 times a day to update publications. So let's just say that you have a publication that's referenced within a biosketch that does not yet have a PMCID, but you know that's something that's pending. You know that you can't use a non-PMCID, or generally don't use a non-PMCID on a biosketch. However, with the platform, if you do allocate that and assign that as a value and it does get updated, it automatically applies across the board. So any biosketch that references that publication will actually be updated. So it's really going to be a huge time saver, not only for administration when it comes to using the Edge console, but it's also going to be a really good time saver for the investigator who's managing, or support staff, or who's assisting managing that. So I think that might cover everything right now. But I cannot express to you how happy I am that everybody was able to attend today. Been very excited about this presentation and getting the word out. You know, it's we've been in business since 2016 with this particular platform. But it was something that we kind of kept quiet because we wanted to make sure that the platform was going to be something that was ultimately going to be of service to the different groups across this nation. So this is a way that I think this is a good launching pad just to let people know that we are going to be happy to be able to provide this service to you and your organization if you're interested. I have everybody's information that registered for this event. So what I'm going to do is send out a thank you for attending this particular event, and also have a link in there so that if you would like to schedule a full demo of all of the utilities, I'd be more than happy to set some time aside to be able to give that demonstration to you guys. But we really feel that ResearchLogix is going to be a life-changing platform, not only for administration and trainees, but ultimately just providing a way for community to be able to interact and create some best practices in the curation and management of this type of data and reporting. So we appreciate all the time. And so looking through, yes, can we look at pricing this platform? What I will do is I will send that information as well in the follow-up email so that you guys can see the pricing structure. We wanted to make sure when it came to pricing that it was going to be something that was not astronomical, but we wanted to make sure that it was something effective. So we actually have a variety of different tiers to offer. Based on the size of the organization. That's, you know, how the pricing is structured. But I'll make sure to get that information out so that you can see exactly how that's set up. So, but thank you again for the opportunity and the potential to serve you and your organizations. And I will definitely be in touch. And thank you for your time today.